March 15, 1914. My thought is filled with Thee, my heart is full, all my being is filled with Thy presence, and peace grows ever deeper, giving rise to that happiness so special, so unmixed, of a calm serenity which seems vast as the universe, deep as the unfathomable depths which lead to Thee. Oh, these silent and pure nights when my heart overflows and unites with Thy divine love to penetrate all things, embrace all life, illumine and regenerate all thought, purify all feeling, awaken in every being the consciousness of Thy marvelous presence and of the ineffable peace that flows from it. Grant, O Lord, that this consciousness and peace may constantly grow within us, so that we may be more and more the faithful intermediaries of Thy divine and absolute law. March 17, 1914. When physical conditions are a little difficult and some discomfort follows, if one knows how to surrender completely before Thy will, caring little for life or death, health or illness, the integral being enters immediately into harmony with Thy law of love and life, and all physical indisposition ceases, giving place to a calm well-being, deep and peaceful. I have noticed that when one enters into an activity that necessitates great physical endurance, what tires one most is anticipating beforehand all the difficulties to which one will be exposed. It is much wiser to see at every moment only the difficulty of the present instant. In this way, the effort becomes much easier, for it is always proportionate to the amount of strength, the resistance at one's disposal. The body is a marvelous tool. It is our mind that does not know how to use it, and instead of fostering its suppleness, its plasticity, it brings a certain fixity into it which becomes from preconceived ideas and unfavorable suggestions. But the supreme science, O Lord, is to unite with Thee, to trust in Thee, to live in Thee, to be Thyself, and then nothing is any longer impossible to a man who manifests Thy omnipotence. Lord, my aspiration rises to Thee like a silent canticle, a mute adoration, and Thy divine love illumines my heart. O Divine Master, I bow to Thee. March 18, 1914. Thou art perfect knowledge, absolute consciousness. He who unites with thee is omniscient while the union lasts. But even before attaining this stage, he who has given himself to thee in all the sincerity of his being, with all his conscious will, he who has resolved to make every effort to help in the manifestation and triumph of thy divine law of love in himself and the whole field of his influence, sees all things in his life change, and all circumstances begin to express thy law and assist his consecration. For him it is the best, the very best that always happens. And if in his intelligence there is still some obscurity, some ignorant desire which at times prevents him from becoming aware of it immediately, he recognizes sooner or later that a beneficent power seemed to protect him even from himself and secure for him conditions most favorable to his blossoming and transfiguration, his integral conversion and utilization. As soon as one becomes conscious and convinced of this, one can no longer worry about future circumstances or the turn events take. It is with perfect serenity that one does at every moment what one thinks best, convinced that the best too is sure to come from it, even if it is not the result which we, with our limited reasoning, expected from it. That is why, Lord, our heart is light, our thought in repose. That is why we turn to Thee in all confidence and say peacefully, May Thy will be done. In it true harmony is realized. March 19, 1914. O Lord, eternal Teacher, Thou whom we can neither name nor understand, but whom we want to realize more and more at every moment, enlighten our intelligence, illumine our hearts, transfigure our consciousness. May everyone awaken to the true life, flee from egoism and its train of sorrow and anguish, and take refuge in Thy divine and pure love, source of all peace and all happiness. My heart, so full of Thee, seems to expand into infinity, and my intelligence, all illumined with Thy presence, shines like the purest diamond. Thou art the wonderful magician, He who transfigures all things. From ugliness brings forth beauty, from darkness light, from the mud clear water, from ignorance knowledge, and from egoism goodness. In Thee, by Thee, for Thee, we live, and Thy law is the supreme master of our life. May Thy will be done in every place. May Thy peace reign upon all the earth. March 20, 1914. Thou art consciousness and light. Thou art peace in the depth of all things. The divine love that transfigures, the knowledge that triumphs over darkness. To feel Thee and aspire to Thee, one should have emerged from the immense sea of the subconscient. One should have begun to crystallize, to grow distinct, so as to know oneself and then give oneself as that alone which is its own master can do. And what effort and struggle it takes to attain this crystallization, to emerge from the amorphous state of the environment, and how much more effort and struggle yet to give oneself, to surrender once the individuality has been formed. Few beings consent willingly to make this effort. So life, with its brutal, unforeseen events, obliges men to make it unintentionally, for they cannot do otherwise. And little by little, Thy work is accomplished despite all obstacles. March 21, 1914. Every morning, my aspiration rises ardently to Thee, and in the silence of my satisfied heart, I ask that Thy law of love may be expressed, that Thy will may manifest, and in anticipation I adhere with joy and serenity to those circumstances which will express this law and this will. Oh, why be restless and want that for oneself things should turn out in one way and not another? Why decide that a particular set of circumstances will be the expression of the best possibilities and then launch into a bitter struggle so that these possibilities may be realized? Why not use all one's energy solely to will in the calm of inner confidence that Thy law may triumph everywhere and always over all difficulties, all darkness, all egoism? How the horizon widens as soon as one learns to take this attitude. How all anxiety vanishes, giving place to a constant illumination, to the omnipotence of disinterestedness, to will what Thou willest, O Lord, is to live constantly in communion with Thee, to be delivered from all contingencies, to escape all narrowness, to fill one's lungs with pure and wholesome air, to get rid of all useless weariness, be relieved of all cumbrous loads, so as to run briskly towards the only goal worth attaining, the triumph of thy divine law. O Lord, with what joy and trust I greet thee this morning.